That was quite a definitive period.
Fascination.
It's just the way we feel.
It's not by Keane, is it?
Fascination.
It's not what it's called. It's going to annoy me.
But that was that period of music. Remember when the Feist 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tell me that you love me more.
I thought that was like when it used that in an Apple advert. That was like such a period.
There was a period of music where every song sounded like it could be used for a Match.com advert.
Yeah.
Do you remember that Match.com advert?
Oh
yeah. I like old movies. Like The Godfather
3
is not considered the best one.
But that's just
me. That was very good.
Yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're at a train station.
But also thinking Godfather 3 is the best one. That is fucking clapped. That's clapped.
Yeah. But that's what makes him special.
I guess so.
That's what makes him quirky and individual.
Walk away, be carried away in their straitjackets.
Yeah. No wonder you haven't found love, you prick.
Welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. We are back in the studio after a month away. We are back. I'm back from the Edinburgh Fringe. Edinburgh Fringe was nice.
Gnarly.
It was gnarly, dude. It was very nice indeed.
Well, yeah. What's your rating out of 10?
Well, I definitely liked it a lot more this year than last year, and I definitely, in the run up to it, I was very cynical about the whole thing. I thought it was all a sham.
And you remembered the magic.
I was like, Edinburgh's fucked, man. It's just a complete con.
It was a lot of double fingers being thrown out.
But then, you meet Australian clowns. you meet Canadian magicians.
Yeah.
And suddenly you realise, this is...
Venezuela jugglers.
This is the great meeting of minds that happens nowhere else in the world.
Yeah, forget the UN.
This is it.
This is
how we solve world peace. These are the greatest minds. The greatest minds in the world all meeting in one...
I imagine a lot of sincere debates about fart jokes happening, like round the pubs and things.
Well, there's more lectures and then you know,
right, yeah.
We'd all go around and you kind of audit a lecture.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's the fart lectures over there. There's like, poo, can it go too far in comedy?
Yeah.
And there's obviously a panel.
With graphs, there's kind of the mathematical approach versus...
And you have to show a balanced opinion.
It was peer review. It was a big system of peer review.
It was less of a theatre festival. It was much more of a sort of like, it was like Davos.
Yes. Right, okay.
But for goofballs. No, it was nice. I think it was a much nicer vibe this year. I think last year, everyone, because it was the first one since COVID, and I think the kind of main characters of the last Fringe were just far more bigger drinkers, and I think weirdly the big stars, how they act, it kind of filters the whole thing. And then there was the bin strikes, which meant for the last 2 weeks there was no one had cleared a bin, so the whole streets were...
Shouldn't underrate that fact on a time in a city.
And
the collection of refuse out there.
It had an insane vibe, and then this one was just a lot more wholesome and nice.
Why was it more wholesome? What was the activities?
I don't know. I think everyone, because I think now we've realised it doesn't mean as much anymore, which is amazing. Because it like before it was like you have a bad Edinburgh and that you might never recover from it.
Yeah,
I don't know how people used to do that back in like the 2000s. Like you debut, and if you just got like bad reviews,
that's it.
That's kind of you're like out in the wilderness until you do a good show.
Jesus.
So now because of the internet, I went in thinking this is just a dying thing, but I realise now it's just like the best place to get better and do stuff and
Well, I guess if you're doing it every day for a month anyway, it's going to be.
Well, there's nowhere else in the world you can do it. And I also got there's a lot of things actually. Like I also found like I've definitely been slagging off UK stand up for a bit, or at least been quite cynical about it because I found myself naturally leaning towards a lot more.
You founded a few Facebook groups that said the same.
I did, yes. I picketed a lot of funerals.
Yeah,
of
UK's comedian. He deserved to die. He deserved to die. He deserved to die. Who is this guy? He was 70 years old.
I think American stand-ups have a better gag rate. What?
Bury him.
But then I've kind of changed my mind now because I kind of feel like. I guess doing it with so many different countries there, then I do realise that this scene, while there isn't that dedication to like gag, joke, punchline, it does mean that because of Edinburgh, the stuff people are talking about is so much more interesting and varied and diverse and so much more creative with how they're expressing themselves. Yes, it means that they might have 10 minutes at the end that's just sad and not particularly funny, but it also just means that you're so much more free as a stand up to kind of explore stuff.
More generic performance rather than just having to be laughs a minute.
Exactly, and
which
then
is what American stand-ups always charge on these podcasts I listen to.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
All do. They're always like that.
And I got in a real headspace of trying to be like that and be
gag city bitch, gag city.
But
bitch.
then even because I think Paddy even went to America and he says it's like as much as they've got like a high dedication to like gag rate, it's like any one of them could do each other's sets. Like you could have a lineup of 15 of these American acts.
Yeah.
And they could do each other's material and you wouldn't know at all.
Okay, interesting.
Then you see someone like Dan Tiernan and it's like that. That he doesn't even exist anywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's the most unique face I've ever seen.
Yeah, you can't. There's no one else can do that. He has a joke about his eyes are so sunken that the Chilean miners are still lost in there. And but yeah, I had an intense conversation with this sketch duo called Britannic, or one of them from Britannic. And Britannic were like maybe the first viral comedy duo. So
does that ring a bell? Would I know them?
They blew up on YouTube in like 2008. So I didn't know them. They're kind of past our generation.
2008, yes, they are. Financial crisis. Coincidence?
Yes.
It was a coincidence.
No.
Okay, that's why.
I said yes as in you're onto something.
It was a turning point in the housing
Britannic
market
was like the Titanic to
the housing market went, that's enough.
That's enough. After Britannic blew up.
Correct, got it, yeah.
And it was just interesting to them because they have huge followings online and they've done loads of sketches. And I was basically saying, like, because especially from our perspective, I was asking him why the fuck he's in Edinburgh when he's doing like shows to like, he's like in like an 80-seater.
Right.
And it's like you've worked so hard on these sketches, which, as we agreed, online doesn't translate on stage and vice versa. You can't they're completely different things.
Yes.
So why are you spending all your time making this work for about 2,000 people to see it?
Yeah. Over the month?
Yeah. And it was basically, if the whole month, about 2,000 people will see all those sketches, which just seems mental when it's like...
Nuts. Oh, so they're doing a sketch show?
Yes.
Right.
What did you think?
Maybe stand-up.
Oh, sorry.
For individual stand-up rather than sketch.
No. And he was very interesting about it. He said that basically he's done all of that. They wrote for SNL for a year and a half.
Did they?
They're properly involved. They've done all of that and they didn't like SNL at all.
Yeah.
They didn't find the experience. They said they loved he said, I was only speaking to one of them, he said he loved the actual show day, and then the after party is the craziest thing ever. Because you're like this, because you're a writer, you're still the center of attention, even with all these A-listers. So because you're the writer on the show. So apparently that's mental.
How did they get that gig?
I know, we should speak to.
We should message. Who is it?
Lorne Michaels.
Lorne Michaels. No, but who? What's the Rockefeller?
Do you think if we sent the fart sketch to Lorne Michaels, he'd get us on SNL?
I think that would be the only thing that would get us on SNL. I think the only reason we're not on SNL is because our immediate fans didn't like the fart sketch. Yeah. Whereas if that blew up, it would have broken America. Yeah. And then we would have been on SNL within a week.
I think so. I think it would have been. Yeah, it would have been like Beatles when they broke America, that kind of that early radio.
Ours would have been much more sudden and surprising, given it was on the back of a fart sketch.
And then we immediately, like the Beatles, we refused to perform live because we can't even hear us. You can't even hear the fart noises over the screaming.
We're holding up the phone. They're doing it.
And it's like, no, we're going to stage a studio fart albums. But then he basically he says nothing compares to like laughs in the room, and after a while of going viral, which I think even we feel a tiny bit, you don't like the first couple of times you really hit it big, it's like so thrilling, but then after a while you get it and it's like it doesn't fill you with there's still an emptiness there. You know?
I think it's more
it's a relief.
It's always a relief because it comes an absence of bombing. You can never. It's not like you can ever really be once because the joy of hitting it the first time. Yeah, you can't really recapture that. No. Because then every one you've set a bar for it, and then if you don't hit that bar, you're like, well, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me?
And why is this not good enough?
Then it's a long walk down the beach, kicking rocks,
and it's a really long way to a beach from London.
And we're going to separate coastlines.
I was about to say our full address again. I'm always tempted to say our full address on here.
Yeah, if a sketch bombs, both me and Andrew head to separate coasts, and then we put our hands in our pockets. And
you take east, I take west.
It's just kind of, it's around sunset.
I might do like a blasé skim of a rock. It doesn't go very far as well. It doesn't skim. It's one straight in.
I go to kick a rock, but then my other foot slips on the sand often.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't really, and that makes it worse.
Yeah, and it always starts raining.
Also in Edinburgh, this very Zoom mic, I randomly got asked to I haven't produced a podcast for anyone else in ages, but I got randomly asked to do Jesse Armstrong's podcast because Sarah Barron and Jeff Lloyd had this pod. I forgot what it's called. The Succession pod, and because he was up for the TV festival, they interviewed him live, and I'd already got tickets for
a TV festival.
Yeah, so the TV festival's the last 2-3 days of Edinburgh, so they just have all these these nonsense come up.
They are a load of nonsense. TV nonsense. Yeah. It's all about the children.
Yeah,
kids.
Exactly.
That's their tagline.
I'm starting a rumour that it's based like the new Epstein's Island, Edinburgh TV.
What British TV? Right. On all channels, ITV, BBC. Yeah. All of them. The writers, the directors, the producers.
I don't want to predict anyone. Just do your own research.
Yeah,
okay. What I'd say.
I will.
Every single one of the nonsense. Apart from Jesse Armstrong, of course, because I love him.
Yeah. But he's transcended to American TV, so
that's why
he didn't. He was happy
during Peep Show. He was nonsense.
He was happy. Well, I think maybe he was just happy on Channel 4, but he wasn't happy that everyone around him was a paedophile. So he thought maybe I need to.
He's draining the swamp.
I broke America.
He's Trump.
He is Trump. Yeah, he's always draining the swamp. That's always been his big thing, hasn't it, Jess?
But it's just weird on this card and this Zoom H6. It was recording Jesse Armstrong.
I was
trying to get more gravity for the situation because to me, Jesse Armstrong and Christopher Nolan sort of like right now they're like the big daddies of show business, wouldn't you say? Of this,
yeah, I guess no.
Like you think right now,
definitely Jesse.
But like Oppenheimer, if you think about like making an auto that everyone's come to see, and like the hype around it,
absolutely. But I think when you have a hit TV show that kind of lasts a bit longer. Sometimes because you forget.
It's a less respected medium.
Yeah, I suppose so, but you know,
it's not like whoever wrote The Sopranos is not going on the same level as Scorsese or something. You know?
Yeah, but things like like Breaking Bad and Succession, there's a lot of respect, I think. But yes,
I'm not seeing Vince Gilligan with like two fly honeys rocking up. Well, I guess
that's always your barometer of success is rocking up to a party with two fly honeys, and maybe you need to rethink that just for a second.
You know, I don't even have one fly honey, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
I'm trying to achieve the level of success where I'm rocking up.
You don't even have one fly honey. Shout out to your girlfriend.
Shout out, BB. I'll name and shame her. It's a sign of my lack of success because of the lack of fly.
The lack of flyness of the honey.
Yeah, and I want to be the kind of guy in showbiz which is kind of is missing, which I think used to be the case in showbiz, but it's kind of changed now. Is guys who just show up with chicks. I want to be a guy who just every party I show up with two chicks
in like cocktail dresses and really high heels. Well, it's like in Batman when Bruce Wayne tries to be Bruce Wayne, tries to play the character of Bruce Wayne.
I want that every function.
Yeah.
New outfit.
Yeah. They're both wearing those cocktail dresses.
And they're
different colours.
Yeah.
And they can't speak English very well.
No, they're definitely Eastern European, most of them.
But they might, I guess
that's classy.
Yeah.
That's class.
And you have to have them over your armour the whole time.
But you can't buy them because they're hookers. But
are they hookers? Is the implication of that they're hookers?
Well, it's kind of like I feel when you get to that level of richness, it's like you're so rich. Difference? They are hookers because they'll leave with money.
They'll leave with money.
Because it's just like, I'll pay. Well, it's more they'll get paid
for paying them to leave. I think that's the opposite of a hooker.
Just get out of here. Please, I'll pay you anything. Just leave.
Just please. You have
You're embarrassing me.
You can't speak any English.
Yeah. I'd like to rock up to funerals with two fly honeys, just like +2s.
Yeah, and they'd still be wearing the different coloured cocktail dresses. It's incredibly disrespectful.
It's class.
It is.
You can't buy class.
You can't buy
It projects power, I think, is just rocking up to every function with two new random women. I think that's...
It's soft power. And then hard power later.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not interested in sexually. It's purely image-based.
You get home, you're crying into their arms.
It's get out of here.
Yeah. But stay.
I'm so empty. I'm so empty.
Well, that's good.
But he was very unassuming because he has it was weird because writing Succession, it is like, even when it was at its most hyped, it did feel like this is like the closest we have to like modern Shakespeare. I know that seems over the top, but it's like the closest it seems to have something been written that's on that level.
You've read a few BuzzFeed articles, haven't you?
Thank you. Did you read those as well?
Yeah, they were
Top 10 ways Succession's really like Shakespeare.
Yeah. One, it's art.
Are you a bagel? or are you a donut? That was in the
was that number 2? So now that the article titles have become
it's AI generated
within the list.
Yeah,
kind of genius. kind of genius.
Yeah. So it was like I was trying to hype myself up. Yeah. Whenever you meet these people, it's always disappointing because they're normal people.
Wait, so you met him?
Yeah, very briefly.
Yeah, because that's like.
But then he was Mark from Peep Show. So
was he really?
Yeah, basically.
What can you give the exact interaction?
So an agent walked him in, or like a producer, and said, "Hi Jesse, really big fan of your work. You'll be sitting here. This is the guy doing the audio. He's called Horatio." And he goes, "Hi Horatio," and I say, "Hi Jesse." And that was it.
Right, and from that,
and then he asked if he could collab on the next Boys Gone Wild, and we said, "It's a closed shop."
I'm glad you didn't message me to check, but I'm glad.
But then he quite embarrassing was like, "Can we do like the 3-way collab thing?" You know, there's like the
and
new
we were
3-way.
I'm not sure we can. Yeah, there's the weird thing.
Yeah, there's like we've been banned, so we can't do 3 ways. He's like, "Oh really? I've never heard of that." And then it was like getting really awkward.
Well, then he just doesn't really get social media.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, oh.
He's just kind of one of those old dogs.
So he was desperate to collab. And he saw our golf battle. Was it? No, it's not called golf battle. He saw our hot swings.
Hot swings, yeah. Was that the moment?
I think that was the moment when he realised that he really wants to work with us. But
yeah,
it's like, Jesse, you've had your time in the sun. It's now our time.
I'm just trying to produce this podcast, mate.
Exactly. I'm just trying to do my job, lad.
This is a 9 to 5 for me.
This is harassment.
I'm in and out. I've got no interest in you. Come on.
Then he nervously laughed and then walked away, and he kept looking back at me awkwardly.
Yeah, so I suppose he's the mark.
He power walked away. But no, and then he's just very unassuming, very humble, very British.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just hard because you kept looking at him. It was like, you wrote Succession, but he kept trying to give off the vibes that he didn't write Succession with his mannerisms.
Well, have you seen him around in other like interviews and things?
Yeah, he's the same. He's naming everyone.
I've seen a reasonable amount of him.
Yeah,
but you always see him talk about Succession, and when you've written Succession, there's a lot to talk about in terms of Succession. Yeah. But when you have to make small talk that's not about Succession, then your real personality can come out.
But it's also writing something like Succession. I don't know what you expect, but
do you think you inspired his next TV series? Like a character. It could be about podcast producers.
Well, I wouldn't say character. I think maybe the premise of it. It's not just like a character detail. It's more like the whole concept
is doing a live podcast.
After I said hello to him, he did run off and start scribbling frantically at a notebook.
Yeah. What podcast producer? next project podcast producer.
Yeah. Blonde hair. It's
certainly something to be. It's a topic to be mined.
He's out of ideas.
Yeah, to make me big again. Make me big again. Make me big again.
But yeah, it was weird because it's so good. It is. Well, this happens with writers because I guess Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Is Tom Cruise on stage? On screen.
Yeah.
And then I'd love to see him on stage.
What? Yeah. A Mission Impossible live theatre.
Yeah. Or just like stomp.
I mean, frankly, it might as well be on stage because all the stunts are performed by him.
Exactly. But he gives the gravitas. But whenever you meet writers behind great shows, of course they're going to be hello. Well, because that's what great writers are like. If you see the guy who wrote Breaking Bad,
just meh,
hello, and it's like it's a titanic work of art.
They're not necessarily chaps.
Hello, yeah. I was actually talking about this with Mike in Edinburgh about how it is hard to be. It's hard to be a respected artist if you podcast weekly.
Right.
Because it does undermine any gravitas or mystery of an artist.
Because
I was thinking like Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
He wrote 5 or 6 books. And there's such a, mysterious charisma around him. Because you only have these 5 masterpieces to go off.
Yeah. Get him weekly
and it's people talking about his life. Like, Dostoevsky grew up here. He spent time here. And it's all hearsay and someone else. But if you force Dostoevsky to do a weekly podcast, he would also be talking complete shit. He'd be scraping the barrel.
Yeah, scraping the barrel, being an idiot on a regular basis. It is impossible to do an hour and 45 minutes a week and not appear like a fuckhead.
Yeah, exactly.
For a good
and if
Dostoevsky
had to start making clips and stuff, I just feel like he'd really start to undermine any of his legacy.
Do you think the Karamazov brothers wouldn't necessarily ring as true if he was on here rating? Would you rather?
He'd have to, because it's every week. He doesn't have stuff to
because
talk about.
he'd have to have an answer.
He wrote one book every 4 years. It's like, that took him ages. He thinks he's so special. Tries fucking coming here every week.
Every week, week in, week out. week in, week out.
No matter what, rain, sunshine,
absolutely.
snow.
We've got a lot more hours than he does pages.
Exactly. I think we have more content than Dostoevsky.
And respect.
Well,
in certain circles,
definitely in certain circles, but
no,
I don't think anyone's fighting over the circles that we dominate.
Well, I guess it's the
old adage.
As the old adage goes. Well, you can't not. You're showing your grubby little horrible personality every week.
Yeah, can you separate the artist from the podcast?
No, absolutely not. That is impossible. I mean, there's exaggerations, but those exaggerations are born of truth.
Yeah.
So it's impossible.
And I think it's the same with social media. Is like if you miss social media or podcasting, you can just keep. You can. I don't think we'll ever be able to revere artists in the same way again because
they're
like, "Hi guys," you have to be.
And
like every generation is going to have.
We're here
geniuses.
with Top Golf.
Because every generation is going to have their Dostoevskys. Every generation is going to have their Charles Dickens, their Shakespeare's. That's just. Yeah. But our generations are going to... When
there's a different way that you play that game and get to be those people. Nowadays, you have to pay your dues on social media, almost unequivocally.
Rembrandt,
he
was patronised by the up-and-coming middle class in the Dutch Golden Age.
We're patronised from Mike Kay from Woolwich, literally on our Patreon.
And Top Golf Watford.
Top Golf Watford, yeah.
If Rembrandt...
was it just Watford? It was the whole UK brand. Check it out.
It was the original... original one.
That's true.
But I feel if Rembrandt was working today and still needed money, there's not going to be big wigs who are paying for his work in the same way. He would be at Topgolf going, "Hi guys,
absolutely.
My name's Rembrandt.
my name's Rembrandt." It would be a weird choice from Topgolf to choose Rembrandt. Wouldn't necessarily not a man known for his.
It'd be like a late Renaissance oil painter.
Yeah, but I'm here today taking on the Crazy Golf Challenge for hot swings. I think the sidemen were just on
hot swings, but even hotter wings.
So yeah, week one we'll do Boys Good Wild. Week 2 we'll get the sidemen on, and then I'm thinking week 3 Rembrandt. I think Rembrandt.
Rembrandt versus Dostoevsky. I think it would be a nice one.
Yeah. Who's gonna spicy? You're right. But who wants pride and who needs class and dignity in today's world?
Yeah. How have you been?
Yeah, great. I've just come back from a wedding.
I know, I'm heartbroken to miss it.
Yes, it's the wedding of our dear friend Millie. Yeah. Actually, who was my first girlfriend.
She was. So how did you feel?
Mixed. Also, given the fact the wedding took place 2 days before my birthday.
Okay, that feels personal.
2 points for that. Is it a sign? Is it
a sign or is it a pointed attack?
Exactly.
It's
like I can't even. I obviously this is going to be a tough day for me, and now you're going to make me thinking about it for the whole weekend during my birthday. It's a bank holiday weekend as well, so I was thinking about it for 3 days.
Bank holiday. I mean,
I was like bank holiday, birthday, wedding. What's going on? So there was an atmosphere in the air.
Yeah.
There was eye contact when she went down the aisle.
What do you think she was regretting the decision she'd made?
Again, it was hard to work out whether it was a cry for help or a pointed attack. I couldn't work out which. But it was...
Yeah. Was it a told you so, or was it I've made a terrible mistake?
What?
It's hard to know.
Annoyingly, I can't remember who... I think she broke up with me, actually, yeah.
Did she?
In year 6, yeah, I think she did. Yeah.
How did you take it?
Oh, badly.
Did you take it badly?
Yeah, really badly.
I've become so numb, I can hardly
breathe. It wasn't the same year as my parents' divorce, actually. So it was like, she's really hateful.
Planned. Yeah, she's a hateful woman.
She's a hateful, spiteful lady.
Nothing worse than the woman's scorn. Nothing.
It's true. So it was, a confusing day. And what made it more confusing was that there was a meal that happened. So a wedding is usually the wedding, a meal and speeches, and then the reception, right? Yeah. And often you get invited to certain parts based on how close you are with the bride and groom. So for the majority of our friends, there was obviously the bridesmaids and some closer people to her. They went to all three.
Some people were just invited to the car park.
The drinks before, but not the wedding. So there's like preying for an event you're not going to. Very
right, see you guys.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a wedding to get to. You got taxis, yeah. But so most of us weren't invited to the meals and speeches. We were off to the pub, and then we're going to then join on for the reception. But 2 days before, again, mind games, Horatio. Yeah. Mind games. 2 days before, someone conveniently drops out, and little old Andrew Kerwin's invited to the meal. I was on the reserves. I was the sub that no one wanted to see. Because I was there, but it wasn't like we'll squeeze them in at the last. It wasn't like maybe we can add an extra chair and we'll make it happen. It was like, oh no, someone's dropped out and we have to fill that seat. Otherwise, it'll be weird to have an empty seat. I know who we'll call. Andrew. Yeah. So then I'm there.
It's like when Theo Walcott went to the 2006 World Cup at the age of 16.
Yeah, if I would have any knowledge of football history, sure. I'm sure it's exactly like that.
For 20% of the audience.
Did he do well or badly?
He did badly. Well, he just didn't play. It was just a mistake.
Didn't play is kind of what I did, because I was like...
But you were called up because there was an injury last minute and they called him up.
I was called up. So
you're too young for it.
I think there were also...
The game's too big for you.
The game was too big for me. I mean, the beef Wellington was on the menu.
So the Theo Walcott story, just to solidify this reference.
Yeah, I'm sure this is going to be great.
Why it was so heartbreaking is because he had a bit of hype as a 16-year-old who was very fast.
Yeah.
Hadn't really proven himself. He got called up on the plane to be this 16-year-old at the 2006 World Cup.
Yeah.
Didn't start a match. Okay. Had all this hype around him. And then the 2010 World Cup, he didn't even get called up.
What, 3-0 Walcott?
So the World Cup he should have gone to, he didn't go to. So
3-0 Walcott. Do you remember that when he turned 30? And someone went 3-0 Walcott. Or is that in something? Anyway,
no.
so
but I do know that he has an autobiography that he wrote at 23 years old, and it's called Growing Up Fast. Which might be... it could be the least valuable novel ever written. Book ever written.
Is it a novel?
No, it's a book. It's not.
My God.
But Growing Up Fast, and the picture is him blurry because he's moving so quick.
He's very quick.
Theo Walcott Growing Up Fast is a 23-year-old's memoir.
Well, he clearly grew up really fast then.
It must have.
In fairness, because in his eyes or his brain, he's like a 60-year-old man because he's grown up so fast.
He's an author.
He's grown up so fast.
He's an author.
So weirdly, actually, it kind of makes sense to do it young. You couldn't do like a growing up fast book when you're 60 because it'll be like you're 60.
It's a Penguin classic.
What? Theo Walcott's growing up fast. I think it might become essential reading for the podcast. We need to release our reading list.
Like a reading list, yeah.
Well, we've discussed a reading list before, but
it'd be good if it became like, instead of Mice of Men, it became the English GCSE like set literature book.
Theo Walcott growing up fast. That is actually...
Sorry, my implication was you got called up to this, didn't make an impression, and you won't get called up to the next one.
It's the age-old story of Icarus, really, isn't it? It's the same thing.
He ran too fast to the sun.
You need to swap both out. You can't just swap ran out.
Icarus,
you need
growing up too fast.
Icarus grew up too fast. Theo Walcott flew too close. So no, it was I suppose it was a growing up too fast situation. I'm in no hurry to write a book about it, but was there, and I was conscious that I think partly it was Millie and I we've gone way back.
You've got history.
We've got history, and again, is it a coded message?
Yeah.
The answer is probably yes, but we move on from that generally because I want them to be happy.
Was Elle there?
Yes.
Okay.
She also got the call up, I think, as well, because you kind of have to. You know,
so you're both growing up fast.
We both grew up too fast, but we were there, and I think I think partly it wasn't just a friendship decision as well. It was like, I could be, I'm a good person to invite to a dinner, perhaps.
Yeah.
Which is true and not true at the same time.
Yeah.
Depends what Andrew.
Schrodinger's Drew.
Schrodinger's Andrew.
You don't know which one you're going to get.
Don't know which one you're going to get at all. So I was very conscious to not. To be, I wasn't like, I'm not going to be, you can't be controversial.
No.
You have to be very much, oh yes, and say more about that Philip.
Which is not when you're not the best at this.
No, because I can't do small talk. I'm more about, more about that Philip.
More like gurgle my jizz, Philip.
Yeah. Or just
why aren't you laughing? Start slapping.
What's wrong with you fuckhead? Etc. Yeah, just slapping them on the bum and getting them off. Not getting them off. I'm not giving out hand jobs to middle-aged men at a wedding. Wouldn't be the first time though, but so we were. So I was there. I was on my best behaviour. Head down. The beef Wellington was out, and that was all very lovely.
Was it a good Wellington?
It was a great. I thought you were going to say wedding. I thought you were saying a great Wellington. The Wellington was
a good
great.
beef wedding.
Yeah. No, it was very good Wellington. Very well seasoned to my recollection. But it was very lovely time. All of our friends were there. And yes, the first wedding of all of our friends, not of all time, of all of our friends. Yeah. So it was a very much moment where you're like, oh, that's an adult. Do you know, no, we're now there. I know, like, it was obvious we are. There. Yes, but it was also quite a profound personal moment because you're looking at the person doing it, and every wedding I've been to previously has been an adult, someone I would consider as an adult, like my mum, my oldest cousin. Those are the people's marriages I've been to. Whereas now I'm like, you're like 4 months older than me. So now every decision that happens, including the decision of marriage and the way in which you do a marriage, is now very much like, oh, that's a decision I could make in the future.
And it wouldn't be mental.
But it was like, oh, they're actually like the decision to get married in the church and then do this and then do that. I was very much, it seems like every wedding I've been to previously, you have to do those things. Whereas now I'm like, oh, we actually have a choice in those, which is strange. So I don't know if I want to get married in a church. I can't because I'm not baptized.
Is that true?
Yeah, you have to be baptized.
I didn't know that before we started the podcast.
I'll leave.
That is crazy. It's crazy to leave out.
We're about to lose half our viewership right now. He's not baptized. He hasn't been blessed by Christ.
People with the headphones just ripping them off.
I thought, and some of them, half of them Christian, but half of them just like, I thought I knew him.
I thought I knew he was clearly baptized.
Yeah, no, I haven't been baptized. You've been baptized, haven't you? You fucking.
Yeah, but it was baptized just in that, in a very godless, pragmatic way of like, I might need to go to a Christian school, which I did.
Yeah, I know, but at the end of the day, baptized is baptized.
Yeah, I'm in the door, babe.
You are in the door.
I'm like this with the God. I'm like, lad, you might not like it, but I'm here.
My mum,
I played the rules. I'm in, boy.
My mum, in a very fair decision and somewhat valiant, I suppose, if you could use that word. Yeah. It was like, I'm not going to baptize my kids. They can choose what they want to do, right?
We'll get baptism now.
That's the problem. That's the problem, because I'm a bit like, now, as you get older, the fear of death is slightly starting to increase a little bit. And you're like, what if everyone is right? But now the problem is, because you guys have had it as a kid, there's no embarrassment there. If I go and get baptized, having not become a born again Christian, or just a born Christian, I suppose, that is obviously because I'm panicking about death, and it's the most embarrassing thing in the world. And or would it be the funniest thing ever if I invited all of our friends, like a wedding, when everyone's getting married, I'm getting baptized. I'd appreciate you all being in the church. Me there in like a white robe kind of thing.
It'd be one of the most amazing days of my life.
It actually would be great.
Yeah, it would be a lot of things all at once. It'd be humiliating, it'd be embarrassing, it'd be amazing, it'd be wonderful, it'd be completely unique.
It might be one of the best performance artistic pieces ever. If I got baptized at the age of
it's sort
30.
of like circumcision baptism, where it's like, have it as a kid, sorted, no one.
Then
if you're like,
but it's a baby, that's fair. You're dipping a baby's head into water, that's all right. You're dipping my 26-year-old head into water. Look at that. And then having no changes on my life whatsoever, not taking on any more Christian values than I have done in the past.
Yeah.
Just being like, well, if he's right,
But you want to be sick with it. You want to be cool with it when you get baptized. Because if you're getting an adult baptism, you have to play your cool, right? Because you've got all of your close friends and family.
Do I have to have a godfather there and godmother?
I think
Even more embarrassing. Just like my auntie and uncle there.
It's funny with most of my godfathers because my dad.
Most of your godfathers. How many do you have?
Maybe 2.
You can't have 2 godfathers. You don't. You have one godfather.
A godfather and mothers.
You have one godfather. You have one godmother.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. Have you even been baptized, bro?
Well, it's more like the ones my dad chose. I swear we had more.
So there was a schism in the decision
it's more like when my dad would just choose his close male friends at the time. But my dad's not great at holding on to male friendships.
Yeah.
So most of them are like
he hasn't tasted me in a while.
They've been in jail. They're like different. My dad no longer speaks to them. So if I had to recall up my godfathers.
Yeah.
And ask this assortment
as a rebaptism. Are you thinking of renewing your baptism?
Yeah.
Because we could two birds, one stone it.
What, simultaneous baptism?
Yeah, just renew it, just to get closer to God.
Like, we'll hold hands and go down together.
Yeah. I'm not sure you can. It could be a BGW baptism. We can sell tickets. We can sell tickets.
Baptism Gone Wild.
Not make Baptism Gone Wild. BGW. Yeah, good. We wouldn't bring our friends and family. We could just bring.
And then I had to get the
listeners.
Deviant Tour, my godfathers, all assort them again.
Yeah. Well,
like
I'd have to
a
pick.
nasty
I could pick
selection
my
of
own.
Russian dolls.
I could pick my own.
So you don't have any godparents?
No.
So what happens if your parents died in a terrible accident? Who's
We
going to
actually
look
had
after
this
you?
conversation in Centre Parks.
Do we?
Yeah. Well, who's going to look after me if my parents die?
Yeah.
I think. I guess.
Or do you get to pick? What if you get baptised?
I'm 26. Who do I?
Your legal guardians?
I think I have to move back to Burgess Hill with my auntie and my uncle. I think that's what would have to happen. If my parents were both of them to die together, I guess it would have to be a musical theatre related accident because that's the only time they're together.
Yeah.
So I would. Yeah.
It'd be a lighting rigging fail.
Yeah,
You know.
and they're both on stage, gone. Yeah. But what a tragedy. Andrew's going to have to move back in.
Yeah,
I guess
one
because
of the scene changes, the backdrop falls.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, it was very-
and Sithers both
deaths
their
in
heads off.
Amdram happen every year.
They do. The theatre's a very dangerous place.
It is. So I reckon, yeah, I'd have to move back to the Wivelsfield area with my aunt and uncle. As a 26-year-old man, bearing in mind all of their cousins are younger than me. All of my cousins, they're what do you call them? Kids are younger than me, and have all moved out. So I'd have to then move back in just with them as a 26-year-old.
Well, maybe it wouldn't be Wivelsfield. Maybe there's more to life than Wivelsfield.
What
maybe
the fuck is wrong with
maybe
you?
there's
Take it back.
maybe there's a bigger story out there for you because if you're
No, but they would
if
be my
you're
godparents.
choosing if you're having an adult baptism,
But
and
this
you're,
wasn't
and
about-
you're choosing your own godparents.
But this was a different. You asked.
No, I know.
who
But
would
can
look-
you choose your own godparents?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
then if you
that's
choose
a
your own
great-
godparents and then your parents die, and then people who didn't want to be your godparents, and then you turn
I
up
have to
say,
live with them. I could just choose the people with the nicest house and then kill my parents.
I mean, that's Jesse Armstrong. If you're listening, that is a great.
That's a
great
premise,
story.
isn't it? Yeah. And then there's
And
20.
they're more like, no, that's not how it works. This is like,
Yeah, no, you
it's
can't
not the
live in
Middle
there, but-
Ages. This
Yeah,
is not a
yeah.
legally binding
Story
contract.
kind of stops at the door, doesn't it?
With
No,
all your
because they'll
bags.
just be like, no.
Oh, I just killed my parents for nothing.
Oh, and then the police are like, we know you killed your parents.
You're going to prison.
You go to prison. This wasn't the Godfather I wanted.
And it's called The Godfather.
It's called The Godfather Part 4.
Not considered the best one.
Well, that's just me. It's not considered the best one. No shit.
It's one of the worst films I've ever seen.
So, the wedding was great. The reception was rocking all over the world. This is one of the most drunk you'll ever get. But I was very smug about ordering a taxi because taxis are notoriously difficult in Sussex, in the mid-Sussex area.
Yeah.
Particularly, there was a lot of people leaving all at the same time. But I was going around boasting about Uber's answer, Sussex's answer to Uber, which is Evo. There's an Evo Cars app.
Which is a Sussex-based
company, and you can pre-order your taxis in there as well. So it's not just. It will take about.
What's the user interface like?
It's not bloody bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad user interface.
Relatively impressive. I'd say not too far off your Bolts and your Ubers.
Wow.
They're quite usable. The difference is if you were to order a taxi for ASAP, it would come in an hour.
Sure.
But this is Hayward Heath, not the Big Smoke.
And all of them look the same. They're all fat, bald white men.
Yeah, they mostly are.
Yeah.
They mostly are. Yeah, with a breath on them.
Yeah.
But so I'd ordered one for 11:30 or whenever the thing was meant to finish because that was a hard line of when it was finishing apparently. And there was about 9 of us coming back to my dad's house.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'd ordered a big taxi, so I was ready for it at 11:30. Go out at 11:30 because it's kind of down this really dark country road. It's really there's not much. It's very out the way. And when they're out there at 11:30, there was nothing. Gave it 5 minutes, and then just rang the number, as in the headquarters, Evo Taxi headquarters, HQ, to make sure that the taxi was on the way, because it'd be a disaster if it wasn't going to come. Because it could be 11:30. Who the fuck knows when you're going to get a taxi? And I've got 9, or however many people it was waiting on me. And then they rang me. He was like, "Oh, are you Andrew Kerwin?" I was like, "Yeah," and I am. And he was like, "Oh yeah, no, you put in the wrong postcode. We're not coming." And I went, What do you mean you're not coming? What's wrong? What do you mean? I booked this at 1 p.m. It's been, 9 hours since then? You couldn't have called me to say that I put the wrong postcode in. It was like, yeah, no, you put the wrong postcode and we're coming. I was like, right, can I order a different taxi? And they went, no, all of our cars are gone.
They're
gone
crazy.
For the night. They're gone for the night. So I went back.
So how smug had you been?
I quietly, I was like, you wait.
Oh, God.
You wait. I know. So I'd gone back and had to tell the fucking masses that the taxi wasn't coming. And And obviously being like, everyone's like, yeah, this is ridiculous. And I was like, I know, it's obscene. And then quietly...
Mass outrage.
Like, Evo, fuck him. And I'd actually been... People were laughing at how much I'd been talking about Evo taxis that night. And then it had gone from fuck him.
Fuck the user interface.
I did have a quiet moment when I got back home just to check. Because I wasn't pissed but when I ordered the taxi, but I wasn't sober. I was like, it can't be that bad. So I had a quiet moment when I got back home just to check what postcode I put in. This is what I put in. WRMV + CP.
What?
It's not even close to a postcode.
What is that?
Nothing.
What did you write that?
Don't know.
Did you copy and paste it from somewhere and then it just took a lot more information with it?
I don't think that's even close to a copy and pasting, is it?
+CP.
Plus a plus sign was in there. a physical plus sign. The actual postcode is honestly no way near it.
So do you have any...
I have no idea.
Is there a leading theory?
Okay. If you we kind of surmise that WR might be something in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
So there's nothing close to where we're going. WRMV + CP. So obviously them not ringing me is obscene, but at the same time, I understand why, because that's not just a wrong postcode. That's not even close to being a postcode.
They probably thought it was hackers.
Or do you think, well,
it was AI?
It could have been a prank.
Yeah.
But you can't even, it can't be a prank because you can't even go to that postcode.
Did you write any other information? Was it just the postcode?
That is a good question, because if we could be more outraged. I am looking for more evidence to make me outraged. Let's check very quickly. Here it is. No.
You just put that?
Yeah, Hassocks.
Well, that is fair enough.
Hassocks, UK. It's fair enough for them not to come. I would say if you booked a taxi 10 hours before and then they look at it and they accept a booking, it's probably fair for them to give you a call.
I do find cab drivers in Sussex, they're fat cats in a way, because they know how desperate people are for them, so they do treat you badly, because it's like, where else are you going to go?
Yeah.
You know, Uber and Bolt, there's often other options. You can get the bus and stuff, but here it's like, where are you
there's different taxi firms.
Yes, that's true.
But they don't care, like, I think it would they're always on the end of their shift at 11, so they're like, who gives a fuck about this guy?
Exactly.
Which is fair, they didn't give a fuck about me. I need a wee.
I need a wee. He needs a wee. So I discussed it very briefly on the episode with Paddy, but he had no real interest. Putin has struck again, and we talked a lot about Putin poisoning people. We talked a lot about
Putin poisoning.
Yeah, we talked about Putin poisoning people.
Yeah,
we talked about Putin poisoning people and how much we couldn't help but rate him poisoning his political enemies, and then when being asked,
you don't get it much in the modern world, do you?
Exactly. Well, that's what the main appeal of Putin as a guy is.
His poisoning.
It's more just bringing in like his medieval attitudes.
It's like, I don't love the war, but he does poison people.
Yeah, well, it's more like bringing in like old school values. It's trad.
Well, it's Shakespearean.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's like
he's
a
living
high court kind of drama.
You know, Jesse Armstrong's writing it. Putin's living it, man.
And even the guys in Succession aren't like poisoning.
Exactly. He's the biggest. It's very camp actually. His dramatic flair.
Yeah.
Like if you cross him, then you're getting crossed out.
Yeah.
You know, no one fucks with me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you regret the day you crossed me, Vladimir Putin. So he used to. I like the way he poisoned people, and then when being asked, "Did you poison people?" and then it was all any political enemy he had, and it was always like the same sort of poison, and it was often by Russian spies.
Yeah. And
he'd always go, "I absolutely have no idea what you're talking about."
Yeah.
And then
he hasn't even heard about it.
Yeah, and it's more like there's nothing you can do apart from if you invade Russia. But that means the end of the world. So he's like, it didn't do nothing. What are you gonna literally just?
Yeah.
And then this was interesting because it really brought him back into. He did the old one too, because as we talked about on this podcast, when Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner Group, staged the coup, and Putin basically was brought to his knees and had a compromise with Prigozhin.
Yeah.
It did take away the sheen of Putin being this boss man, gangster king, because he realised he has this guy. Prigozhin's marching on Moscow.
He became fallible.
Yeah. And then Prigozhin went away for 3 months, but now he said, Putin's played the perfect game.
Yeah.
Because he made peace with Prigozhin, saying, right, I'm not going to charge you of anything.
Yeah.
And
he said they shook hands and he said, I'm not going to shoot your plane down.
And then he just did.
And then he shot his plane down.
And no one could do anything about it.
Yeah.
And he did it over Moscow.
It's fucking baller. It's
in a private jet. And also, there's so many other ways that you could kill Prigozhin.
Yeah.
You could have been poisoning or anything like subtle. He like shot it out the sky over Moscow.
Yeah.
So all his other enemies in Moscow can see
exactly
what
what's
happens
going on.
Yeah.
Because poison is one of the lamest ways to kill someone.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's like
it's classic.
It's not the the man's way to kill, is it? It's not
Yes.
it's not like the most
It's
respectable.
bitch.
Slipping
It's bitch.
something in your salad.
It's bitch.
That's the lamest thing ever, because often, he's not the one. Oh, why don't you have a nibble of that chicken?
It's very sneaky.
It is.
It's too like, sneaky, and it's not macho being sneaky.
Yeah, standing on the field with an RPG.
Well, Putin didn't shoot him.
Yeah. He's not going to trust one of his minions with that. He's out there, rocket guy.
He's riding a horse, topless
out of the sky. Of course he did.
He's a centaur.
It's a shame. It's a shame he's such a... Well, I suppose they have to be completely kind of historical villains in order to have this kind of respect.
Yeah.
Because it's a shame he's such an
alpha chap.
He's only such a bellend.
Yeah.
Because his methodology is baller. It's just the results he's aiming for happen to be horrible.
What? So you're saying if like someone like Malala had Putin's attitude, then that'd be a nice combo.
If like Malala's out there poisoning war criminals, lit. The problem is we've got war criminals. We've got war criminals. The problem is we've got war criminals poisoning rivals instead of climate activists poisoning oil companies.
Well, it'd be cool if Thunberg shot down Prigozhin's plane because of emissions. That would be a great twist in the tale.
Right. So it was an act of green terrorism instead. It was actually nothing to do with Russian rivalry. It was just Greta's had enough, and it happened to be Prigozhin.
It was a complete coincidence.
Putin was like, no, really, this wasn't me.
This
was. You're not going to believe this, guys. But it was Greta
Thunberg. Something planned.
I was going to poison him.
When he lands,
you know me. I always poison them. I don't shoot them down. And you're going to call me mad. But I swear to you, it was Greta Thunberg. I saw her out there.
No one's going to believe me.
No one's going to believe me.
And it's fair. Anyway.
I wouldn't believe me either.
I lie all the time.
But this is true.
I'm literally the biggest liar of all time. Yeah. But this is so true.
I was going to poison him. That would be huge.
Pinky Promise is the head of the UN. I swear.
Yeah. Honestly, this is GT. This is GT. Yeah, no, it's a pretty nuts one. Yeah, I guess what did he say in response? There was that news conference.
The fact that he sent condolences to Prigozhin's family. It's like, that's just fucking mad. Or like,
he's just got to, hasn't he?
And him saying like him posting tributes to him and
what on what?
Well, he was more just talking
on his
about
Instagram story.
Yeah,
like it's a girl's birthday. Actually, I didn't get any Instagram story happy birthdays.
Did you not?
Which is, other than my girlfriend.
So, no one made you a slideshow of love?
No, which is what I'll do, right, next year, just people do it and I'll repost all of them. I'll do like a girl's birthday thing.
Yeah. Did it leave you feeling a bit... Well, I feel the happy birthdays on social media, it's in a bit of a lull now, especially for men. Because there's not.
What do you mean, especially for? Yeah, men's been gone for donkeys.
Do you think?
Yeah. When was the last time you publicly? It would have been a joke on my Facebook wall.
It's true. How many people wish you happy birthday on your Facebook wall?
I don't know. Should we find out now, live on air? That's a bit of fun.
I think last year I got 8.
I think I might be hitting a 3 this year.
It's going to be weird. Aunties. It's going to be that guy you met on holiday 10 years ago.
It's going to be aunties. Yeah. Well, I think even the middle-aged are cottoning on to the irrelevancy of the Facebook wall post.
Because it used to be a currency. It used to be able to...
With the same amount of effort, you can post a private message to someone that doesn't need to be plastered across someone's wall. Oh, it's not like I have to log into Facebook. I don't know them. It's going to be too long. I don't... Yeah, I haven't actually looked. But You know what? I could find it. Yeah, you find out, actually.
I'm logged in on Facebook.
It's certainly... When I happened to go on Facebook maybe the day after, I certainly wasn't flooded with notifications. I can tell you that much for certain. I think one of my old family friends did.
Okay, here we go.
3?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's more than expected.
That's not bad. So
Who were they?
You got Julie May Cousins.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Julie Mays, my old Daniel's mum, my old school, family friends.
Family friend. Happy birthday. Hope you enjoyed your day.
Yeah.
With an emoticon of a gift, a balloon, a beer, and a party face.
What does she mean by the beer?
She means that you.
What does she mean by the fucking beer? What does she mean by the beer? What? I can't have some alcohol on my birthday.
That's what she meant. And then
it's summer.
Trevor Farley.
Family friend.
Happy birthday,
exactly
Andrew.
The same.
Hope you have a great day, but this time the emoticons are a champagne emoticon, a whiskey emoticon, and a red wine emoticon.
Don't mix your liquor. 3 alcohols.
Yeah, so he's really... This seems to be a theme that's running through.
What the fuck?
And then, of course, I mean, I think she is the only person who comments on my wall, which is Marion Delaney.
Yeah.
Paul Delaney's
Marion?
Yeah, Marion.
What a fucking legend, yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Have a good day. Keep it classy, keeps it... And then Beth Hinton.
She said keep it classy?
No, I just said she kept it classy.
Right.
Then Beth Hinton, happy birthday.
Beth Hinton? Wait, she went to the... Did she not? Oh, no, that's musical theatre. Dad's musical theatre friend.
And then Jackie Clark.
My grandma.
Okay, well, that's not... It's not bad haul.
Yeah, it's not...
It's not a sexy haul.
It's not... What?
It's like your mate's grandma.
Hold on,
your
no.
grandma.
I think about 60% of those are my parents' friends, and then one of them's my grandma. Wait, no, other than my grandma, they're all my parents' friends.
So you got 5.
Yeah, wait, who was the 4th?
Beth Hinton.
Yeah. No, they're all my parents' friends.
Yeah.
And then my grandma. I wonder if they'll ever stop.
So, yeah, I reckon you could say... Right now, whoever wishes you happy birthday on your Facebook would be the worst birthday party imaginable. like imagine if whoever wishes you happy birthday, your birthday party is a dinner party with just them. It'll be a selection of your mum's friends, your grandma. That's it.
You couldn't call it. You couldn't call it.
That's your birthday. That is one of the most because that's worse than no one.
You can't
because you'd feel like this is all I have.
Yeah, and you can't have a meal. It has to be like a stand up with a disco ball and and you've hired a DJ. There's those snacks out, you know the snacks with the kind
packs.
of and with those checkered kind of tablecloths that are made out of paper, not like fabric.
No.
Yeah, that's and it's in a village hall.
Yeah, with wipe downable surfaces.
Yeah, everyone's basically clearing up what at the start of the party. Nothing. Yeah, that would be the bleakest thing ever. But any more on Prigozhin? I mean, this is a big deal for you as well.
Yeah, I guess it's more just the drama. I mean, I live for the drama.
Yeah, I'd give anything to be a fly on a wall.
I just want to see. Him denying it was what I found great, and then him
because he isn't really.
He said he was a great businessman. He said 25 years of service to Russia.
Yeah.
Thanked him for his help in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And that is classy. There's something classy about killing your enemies and then
acknowledging
and then wishing a happy birthday on his Facebook wall.
yeah, it's true.
Oh no.
Well, I guess he knows everyone knows he did it, and he did it for the purpose of people knowing that he did it as well. It's like to say, don't fuck with me. He's saying don't fuck with me.
And now he's got...
But he obviously has to say...
He looked like a scared little man when Prigozhin mutinied. But now he looks like Big Daddy
Is
Dick.
he back? That's my question. That's my question to you. Is he back? Because I think he didn't poison him because if he did, he definitely wouldn't be back. It was like Prigozhin marched on Moscow and had Putin rattled because he marched on Moscow. If Putin slips something into his roast, I don't know what Russians eat, stroganoff. Putin slips something into his stroganoff, he's not back. He's still a pussy. It was like Prigozhin rocked up with like tanks and shit. Putin put something in his drink.
Yeah, it's also all of Prigozhin's high command as well.
Yeah,
so he just decimated it in one fell swoop.
Well, that is because the only way you can do a real decimation like that is plane or banquet.
Yeah,
and definitely like the plane's a better way to go.
Yeah,
in terms to reassert yourself as a world leader or a tyrannical one.
Well, he's still fucked. If you look at the situation, but it's a reminder.
No, but is he back?
He's back.
Okay, yeah.
He's fucked, but he's back.
I think he is
but
back.
He's been fucked for most of his career.
Yeah, he is back. But it was more. But he doesn't look like a pussy.
If I'm going down, I'm going down swinging. That's what. This is what that message said.
I don't think it was ever. He was never going down.
Well, that's what was the. If you listen to the way that Western media were talking about the mutiny, there was a real feeling. It's just the beginning of the end.
Yeah,
this is unlike Putin.
Right.
So this was like this really.
But
it was
going to silence
FU to the News Agents podcast.
Yeah,
I think he was going like this to Emily Maitlis.
To Emily.
Yeah.
Jesus. What for
He's back
to the news agents?
Yeah, only Mateless was saying that.
I don't want to take on the end. I wouldn't want to take on the news agents.
Okay, Mateless, I'm sorry. You can't be careful.
Another big news story that's been sweeping the nation is the infamous Women's World Cup.
Oh yeah.
Which, so I mean, obviously, straight out the bat, shouldn't be doing it.
You can't be doing that.
Kind of hilarious that it's just like, you know, this is the World Cup women's football. Women's sports have been taking such strides in recent time. Everyone's getting behind them. The viewing figures are up. It's such
the baldest man as well. It's such a
great time for everyone to start, you know, celebrating women's sport as it should be celebrated. Strives forward for equality and all those things. And a bald man grabs a lady and sexually assaults her on the biggest stage of all. It's just, you can't really write it.
No.
Hilarious, but also unfortunate. I will say there's a video that came out today of all the Spanish team and the woman who was kissed, like laughing at it on the day after, because she's clearly not traumatized by it.
No,
it's obviously an incredibly inappropriate act.
Yeah.
But then the worst thing is now you get all the middle-aged Facebook men going, well.
Oh, I see. All women are liars.
Oh, you enjoyed it, did you?
And now they freed Harvey Weinstein after that video came out.
They did.
They released him.
Yeah, what, were the women or the men?
No, just society.
Or the Spanish women's football team?
This video came out and then
they were like,
the US.
Oh, they were all trash again.
It's
fine, they were lying. They're all
women
trash.
are liars.
They all love it. They all love it. Come on, you're back.
We got them all out.
Yeah.
We're like,
all the rapists. Come on, they all love it.
You know that scene at the end of
the clothes that they were wearing? Yeah, they did want it. Come on.
You know the scene at the end of Cabin in the Woods?
Yes,
when he
opens
it recently, and all the monsters come out.
That's it.
Because all the rapists.
Because a few men on social media saw
the
Spanish football team laugh and they went, let them out. But there's the best.
And it's a bit ignorant from me as well, weirdly, because there's obviously a lot of
honk,
sexism.
Honk, it's the ignorant horn.
But weirdly, it wasn't sexism. It was more ignorance and maybe of Mediterranean culture. Because at first I was like, oh, this is just how Spanish people say hello.
Yes, that was a funny thing as well. And I was listening.
And it was like a bit of there's a little bit of racism there when you're like, Spanish, Italian, they sexually assault each other just
for fun. That's like the highest thing you can get in the culture. That's just the maximum respect possible. Yeah. Well, I didn't actually see it live. But yeah, no, there were so many people because I was listening to LBC the next morning. You have callers in saying like, yeah, that's just how they do it in Spain. And there's people, and there's literally Spanish people rioting on the streets, protesting on the streets, and be like, I don't think that is how they necessarily do it in Spain. But so it's a tough one because he's not as jovial as most of the Boys Gone Wild are, but he's definitely got. We'd have to put it to a tribunal, but he could be a Boy Gone Wild just for not necessarily the kiss.
He's fucking it.
He's fucking it, yes, but he's apologised, but now the guy's refusing to step down. He's literally causing worldwide anger. Protests on the street. It's been huge. The guy is not stepping down, okay? Which is, something in itself. Clearly fucked up as well. Yeah. And now because he's gone from apologising to be saying he's the victim of a woke witch hunt. So he's tried to do both sides of the culture war. He's tried to firstly be like, no, I it was a mistake. I'm a man. It was a problem. I need to educate myself.
All right. If you wouldn't kindly mind stepping down. Well, you're a fucking
fuck you. And the victim of a witch hunt and Trump 2029. So he's done that, and you've got to respect the complete brazenness and the change of tactics. Now, I couldn't think of a funnier addition to this story. But on BBC News yesterday, I got a notification saying that there was an update to what was going on in Spain with their president of football. And what's gone on is that because of everything that's happening to him, and the protests that are going on and the treatment that he's had, his mother is now on hunger strike in a church. His mother's on hunger strike.
Now that is Mediterranean.
That is the most Mediterranean thing in the world. So she must be, I think, 48 hours into a hunger strike at this point. Are we going to let her die so that unless...
It was an interesting question, isn't it?
Are we going to let her die? Now, has there been any hunger strike in the history of the world for less of a cause? For one man to keep his position as the head of Spanish football.
FA. Yeah.
Has there ever anyone, for one man to stay in one job?
Yeah.
That's like my mum going on a hunger strike so I don't get fired from my job. What are you doing?
I've never seen anything.
Nothing. It is the lowest stakes hunger strike in the history of the world. And it
opens up the door potentially to...
If she dies. There is a chance she will die. She could be Bobby Sands and she could die for her cause. She's Bobby Sands.
She's smearing her shit on the walls.
Well, she's in the church, isn't she? But she'll be there, just going hungry. So...
She's an anchorite.
She's an anchorite in many ways, but not quite. But so there's the women's football and all the protests are there on the door, and they're like, get him out. He's a sexual assaulter.
Fair enough.
Then they're like, oh, his mum will die if that happens.
She's a woman.
What are we gonna do? She's a woman.
Snookered.
What do we? Okay, I guess he stays. The funniest thing is as well because they'll be like, okay, we're gonna stop. We'll stop. We're gonna not call for his removal. We'll stop the strikes. She then has a paella.
Yeah.
She then eats. She's fine.
Yeah.
Then you've just got him in charge, and the only reason he's charged is because his mum threatened to kill herself.
Yeah, because
is that a job that you'd want? Would you want to stay in a job that the only reason you've got it is because your mum said, well, if he can't have it, then I'll kill myself?
What's the job?
The job is the head of Spanish football.
Okay. No. But if the job was boob massage, then yeah.
That's what we got time for.
No, I actually want to talk about it a tiny bit more because I think it does. It opens. Sorry, I was racking my head to what's the best job.
I know exactly. What's the best job in the world? Boob massager. I love this sort of job that doesn't exist.
I thought boob massage, and I thought it's actually quite distasteful given the nature of the conversation.
It really is.
I do remember my cousin when I was 12. He said that when he grew up, he wanted to be a boob massager.
How old was he? 20.
I think he was 14.
Right, a boob.
Which I remember thinking that was so
it tongue
funny.
in cheek?
It was, but it was actually kind of cool.
Because it's very different between him making I want to be a boob massager, basically being like, I've been through puberty and I like tits now, compared to no, I really want to be a boob massager. And a 12-year-old being like, doesn't that not exist? You'll be like, no, I'm going to make it exist. Imagine the posters.
And it's also the idea of my mum hunger striking to make sure that I keep my position
as a boob massager. Well, it's a very hard job to get fired for sexual assault. Almost impossible. Well, there's actually many other areas that you can massage.
There's many.
If you have to advertise yourself as a boob, pussy, and a bum massager. Otherwise, you're susceptible to lawsuits.
Yeah. What do you mean to
you massage the bum?
Cover your back.
Cover your back.
You should make yourself a boob and pussy massager.
No. I don't think it should be about covering your back. I think you should stay on your specialities, and if it's boobs, stay on the boobs. Because when you're massaging the boobs, you're doing it because you're a skilled technician at it. Yeah. The bum is for pleasure.
I see.
So you have to go through the training in order to do all of them.
Boobs is work. So to be honest,
boobs is work.
Coming home massaging boobs, it's like a busman's holiday.
It's like a gynecologist.
A busman's holiday.
A busman's holiday. Yeah.
But I'm just
back at work again. Jesus, I can't get away from the office, can I? Fucking hell. Just like 5 minutes to myself about having to massage these boobs.
But it is funny. It's like, so this is kind of the birth of Me Too in Spain, it seems.
Yeah.
Because I guess Me Too was actually started as such an Anglo-sphere thing, started in America.
Has it not been?
Not really. Like in France, it's taken, they had the walkouts over
French
Polanski.
Are usually pretty on it.
No, but they're not, because they have quite they're very anti-woke, a lot of French people.
Yeah.
And they're like, also there's the culture of mistresses, free love. Yeah. They're very sex positive.
They're sex positive, but
for men as well, with their big noses.
But for women as well. So it's less like, because I think the problem, Me Too, was identifying that we live in a sex positive culture just for men.
Yeah, I do think France are pretty, like the idea of a man romancing a woman has elements that maybe English people would find rapey.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so it's funny that it doesn't seem to have reached Spain or Italy fully yet. So this is like people have dubbed this like the big Me Too moment. Right. And it is funny. It's like, I guess they haven't really had a cancel culture in Spain, probably. Yeah. And it's funny that now cancel culture started in these Catholic Mediterranean countries. the way they deal with it. It's like, this is just a different culture dealing with cancer culture, and it's like, I guess this is a slightly different.
Just the mums go and strike in a church, probably a really quaint village church.
They're just a much more dramatic.
Surrounded by candles.
They're more dramatic people, so it's going to be.
They are more dramatic.
It's going to be a more explosive.
A lot more flair, and there's already been a hell of a lot more explosive.
It's the first global cancellation of a Spanish person.
The mum's hunger strike. My mum's never gone on hunger strike for anything for me.
No, but yeah, it's about. In her head, if you go on hunger strike, surely you have to be ready to die for it. Surely.
Yeah, because it's embarrassing if you stop.
So embarrassing, because as soon as you get hungry, you start.
Yeah, like, I guess I'll eat. I mean, because famous hunger strikes. Suffragettes. They probably
and they got force fed.
Yeah, they got force fed. Martyrs, straight away. But if you go on it's funny that there's a classic thing used by the suffragettes is now being used from a Mediterranean woman trying to keep her son in a position after he sexually assaults a woman on the biggest stage of women's football there is.
Yeah.
Of course you should go. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
It's on the
with that, I was just waiting for my view on it. My first read on it was.
Did you see it live?
No.
Right.
My first read on it was like, obviously he's fucked it.
Yeah. Let's see what he says.
It wasn't even that. It was more just what she says.
Right, yeah.
Like if she's like, it's in the moment.
In the moment,
he fucked it. It was just like he misread the. He just got overwhelmed and he just did something that's completely inappropriate. Yeah. Then it would be fine, but because she wants him fired, then I think she should get fired.
Absolutely,
it's all about. It's all about how she feels.
If she didn't, then it's all right.
But I do have a problem with empathizing with people fucking it. Just because it's so just losing your job on live TV is so embarrassing.
Yeah,
and really I can't help but feel like I have such secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah,
just getting caught up and then just taking that leap and being like that. You just fucked it.
He thought he was doing something really.
Like we've all fucked it, but just think about how much he's like. You fucking what do you? You fucking idiot! What the fuck were you thinking?
The problem is because it's like. Look, he's fucked it, but he's arguably fucking it even more. Because if I was him, I'd get my phone out, I'd ring my mum and say, "Don't go on hunger strike.
Don't. This is embarrassing.
I don't need. You're making.
He makes him like a mama's boy.
You're making things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a bit like, look, I love women. My mum's one.
Yeah.
It's kind of that. She's going on hunger strike for me.
Exactly. But weirdly, it seems like because I think this is a very there's a lot we just don't know about Spanish culture at the moment. And so a lot of the reason why there's a lot of protests is they're just using this as a real problem that seems to be pervasive. Like there was a clip released of another Spanish football coach with the women who's being so rough with all the women.
Yeah.
So it might be quite a commonplace thing. Like he's a coach and he's grabbing their cheeks like this.
Right.
And they're really uncomfortable and slapping the back of the head and just very grabby. So it does seem like it's
a problem to be addressed.
So it feels like he should be basically made a martyr. They love martyrs over there.
Yeah.
But a martyr for stop sexually harassing women.
Well, he'll be the opposite of a martyr then.
Is it?
Because he's...
What's that? An anti-martyr?
Yeah. He's dying...
A tomato.
They're killing him for a cause.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, he'd be a martyr for sexists.
No, he would be
He's a martyr for sexists.
Not a scapegoat. Scapegoat's a pretend
Scapegoats are kind of fake, yeah.
It'd be
It'd just be a criminal.
When you hang up pirates after you killed them.
A deterrent?
No.
There's not really a word, I don't think.
You hang up pirates to say no more pirates.
There's a deterrent.
No, there's a thing. He's been made an example of.
Yeah, right.
They made an example.
Make him an example.
That's
the official stance of BGW.
Thank you very much. We're going to go over to the Patreon now. Muchos lavos. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
No, muchos lavos. We'll leave it at that.
Keep it real, bitches. Right.
I'm fucking gay. I'm fucking gay.